Welcome back to CBS This Morning. Hospitals across America are struggling to cope with the surge of coronavirus cases. In New England, about 60,000 new infections and 600 new deaths were reported across 6 states in the past week alone. Mola Lenghi is outside the Rhode Island Convention Center in Providence, which opened a large field hospital just last week. Mola, good morning.
Good morning, Anthony. Inside this convention center that you mentioned, there are about 600 beds, currently treating about 24 patients. That's in addition to being one of the busiest testing sites here in Providence. Now, this field hospital is currently one of at least 3 up and running throughout New England. We got a first-hand look at another one in nearby Worcester, Massachusetts, just hours before it began accepting patients.
When Massachusetts closed its COVID field hospital in Worcester, the hope was that they'd never need to reopen it.
This was one of the first field hospitals in America, opened up on April 9th. We closed down around May 23rd, and now we're open again. And there's no other field hospital in America that we're aware of that has had to do that for COVID.
But as Dr. Eric Dixon, president of UMass Memorial Healthcare, explained to us, with COVID cases skyrocketing, overwhelming hospitals throughout the state, the 220-bed facility had to be reconstructed and reopened.
Was it discouraging when you realized we're going to have to do this all over again, that the situation has gotten that bad?
It didn't have to happen. And we had the virus under control in Massachusetts. And as we started to reopen the state, most people were doing the right thing most of the time. But that wasn't enough. It requires everyone to do the right thing every day if you're going to stop the spread.
They have more beds and staff than before, and enhanced capabilities like copper pipes funneling in oxygen for patients. And it appears they'll need it, as the state's more than 247,000 confirmed cases jumped by more than 4,700 just yesterday. Neighboring Rhode Island just opened this field hospital in Providence in the hopes of relieving its strained hospital system. Over the last week, the state has led the nation in average daily cases per capita, according to the CDC.
They shouldn't have to suffer this way.
But Holly Susie's parents, Janet and Richard Gingras of Providence, Rhode Island, did suffer, especially Richard. A bout of hospital delirium left him unaware of where he was or why he was there. They died days apart, without each other or their beloved family by their side. Stephen Susie was their grandson.
What really hurt our family, and other families I'm sure, is the inability to go and comfort them. They were isolated. This was a couple that had married for 69 years, about to have their 70th wedding anniversary, and all they could think about was each other.
Well, Richard Gingras will be buried on Thursday, just 1 week after his beloved wife of nearly 70 years was laid to rest. Gail, most public health officials say they see no signs of this virus slowing down. But with a vaccine on the horizon, Dr. Dixon at the Massachusetts Field Hospital told us he is at least encouraged that what we're going through right now is not merely a second surge of COVID cases, but hopefully a final surge.
Boy, well, I hope that's right, because we keep hearing surge upon surge, and the Thanksgiving cases haven't even hit yet.
That's right.
That's why it's so maddening to hear the president say, in particular, that we're
rounding the corner.
Rounding the corner.
Or to
we are not. Or to retweet
something claiming that the hospitals are somehow fake when we know they're reopening and being set up anew.
Exactly.
And we heard Dr. Deborah Birx say this is the worst event in the country's history, not just from a public health perspective.
And as we've heard on this show over and over again, what doctors and nurses are going through right now, they are doing epic work, and they are at the breaking point.
Based on the trajectory we're on now for fatalities, Dr. Birx is on track. The numbers are with her in terms of total deaths. It will be the worst event in the country's history.
And I know it feels like Groundhog Day saying the same thing, but we have to keep saying the same thing over and over. Hopefully people will get it. A lot of you have, but a lot of you haven't.